So now we want to make it so that we can aim. So I'm just gonna let's also save our scene if you haven't. So I'm gonna go to the move thing and go right click, duplicate, and call that aim. And then just delete these two buttons and change the text to aim. And let's move this guy. I'm gonna move this guy to like 370. I'm just gonna make the width like 200, I guess. I'm gonna move the text up a little bit so it's not gonna be in the way. And then so on aim, right click, UI, slider. I'm gonna make that thing scale 2 by 2 so it's bigger. Make the width 100. And just move it down a bit. And so this slider, I'm going to make the direction right to left. So we're starting on the right side. That's our minimum value, which is 0. And then we're going to drag it to the other side for the maximum value. And let's make the maximum value 180 so that that cannon can be 0 rotation up to 180 rotation. So we can just pass this number into a script. So the value by default is 0, but okay, so if we press play and I drag this, it goes up and it goes maximum of 180, right? And then on our tank, we want his cannon to rotate from 0 here up to a maximum of 180. So let's go to our tank script. And at the top, we want to add, man, there's a lot of things here. So we want to go public game object cannon. I don't think we need all these spaces. Public game object cannon. And if we go back in here, where are we? Tank. Let's just tell it what its cannon is. So drag that guy there. We can also apply, and that will do that for all the other tanks too. But we just got to make sure these guys do not have isPlayer set to true. Only the player does. Let's go back to the script. So let's, after move, let's do aim. So public void aim, and we'll pass in float. I'm just going to call it value. And we want our cannon dot transform dot rotation to equal quaternion dot Euler, which is just like the x, y, and z rotation basically. So 0, 0 for x, 0 for y. And then for z, we'll just put the value that we're putting in here from 0 to 180. Right, so now we got to call this from the slider and pass a number into this and then set it for the z rotation. So let's go back to the slider for aiming. And on the value change, we'll make it go to our tank and tank script. And then there's the aim float here, but we want the dynamic float way up here. Because if we do this, it's like asking us to enter a number. So we don't want to do that. We want to do this top one, and it's just going to use this number. So now if we press play, should be able to aim our dude. So now we can move with our UI, and then we can aim with our UI. So next we got to make it so we can shoot something. So let's just create some kind of bullet. So 2D object sprite, call that bullet. I'm just going to reset the position so I can see where it is. Alright, so there's our bullet. For the sprite, I'm just going to give it a knob. It's kind of small, so I'm going to make it like 5 by 5, I guess. Maybe 4 by 4. Has to fit kind of like a bullet. I'm going to make it yellow. And let's give it a collider so it can hit our player. So physics 2D circle collider. Looks like 0.1 is a good size already. I want it to be bouncy, so let's make another folder here called physics and create a physics material. Physics 2D material. 2D physics material. I'm just going to call it bouncy. I make bounciness 1, which is like 100% bouncy. And then on our bullet, just drag bouncy onto the material on the 2D collider. So now it should bounce. And let's go add component physics 2D rigid body 2D so that it can like fall and stuff. And just leave it how it is, I guess. And I'm going to give it a add component effects trail renderer and not receive shadows. For material, I'm going to choose, click the circle thingy and give it a sprites default material. And I'm going to make its time 0.2, starting with like 0.5 and it's ending with 0. And open the colors here, and I'm just going to make these all yellow. So these are the colors that it will like change through during its lifetime or something of the trail. Make them all yellow, except the last one is going to be totally transparent. So now if I move this around, it's got like this trail that it leaves behind. So that'll look kind of cool. And I'm going to turn auto destruct to true so that if the trail ever catches up to it, like it's not moving anymore, it'll just like destroy itself. And so let's drag this bullet into the prefabs folder, and then I'm just going to delete it out of the scene. And remember before in the tank we had this spawn point, so we're going to use that point as a position to place the prefab. We'll like instantiate a bullet prefab into the scene and like shoot it. So let's just make a button for shooting. So let's duplicate the aim and just call it shoot and delete the slider out of that one. Oops, delete. And I'm just going to change position X to 580 and go right click UI button, and I'm going to align this guy to the top, center, position Y -10, width 160, height like 50 I guess, and I'm going to make its text say fire, make it my font, 48 sized, overflow dark. I'm going to center it -7. So let's make a shoot script. So let's go back to the tank script and I want to have the bullet come in. So public game object bullet, and we want to use that position. So we'll go public transform bullet spawn point, I guess. Let's save that. So on our tank here, we want to drag the bullet from the prefabs onto it, and we want to put our little spawn point on there, and we want to go apply. We want to make sure these other guys are not checked as player, but they have that same stuff. Let's go back to the script and like add some kind of shoot function. So shoot, so public void shoot, and we're probably going to want to float like strength or power. So we're going to have a game object called new bullet, which equals, we're going to instantiate bullet, which is attached to us from here. So that's the prefab, so we're like making it spawn in basically. And then its position, we'll use bullet spawn point dot position. So there's that spawn position. And then its rotation, we just go quaternion dot identity, which basically just means nothing. It's just 0, 0, 0, I guess. And then we go as game object. So that will paste it in. And underneath that line, we're going to go, so our new bullet that we just made, dot get component, we'll get its rigid body 2D, rigid body 2D, and then add force. And we want to shoot it in the direction that the arm is facing. So we already have that arm, we already have this cannon thing already attached. So we'll go cannon dot transform dot right. So his right, if you go to the cannon, no matter how you rotate it, if you're on local, you can see that red arrow, that's pointing to his right, basically. So it gets that direction. So that's the direction that we're going to shoot, and multiply it by the power that we're going to put in. So that's like a vector 2 already. And save. So now if we go back to our shoot button, where are we? Shoot button. So don't do this part, but if we did do button, and then we have the tank, and then we did tank script shoot, and did like 10, then should be able to like aim, fire, and it's like 10 is like super weak, so let's do like 100. Oh, that didn't work very well at all. 1000? Bam. Alright, so that 4000. So anyway, but what I want it to do is how long that you hold this down, it will like build up strength, and then when you let go, it like fires. So there's a little bit of a challenge to like trying to shoot it at full strength. So let's just like remove this button script and make another custom one where we can hold it down. So inside of here, inside the shoot thing, let's just make a bar that we can fill up first. So UI image, call this bar back, and this is kind of the same as their health bars, how those were set up. So I'm going to align it to the bottom left and move its position X to like 20 and position Y to 10, and make the width 160 and the height 20. Leave it with no sprite and tint it black, and then just duplicate that and call this bar fill, and make that one, I guess, red. And so like if we scaled it, it should like scale nicely, like it's filling it up. Let's make this one's width 0 to start with. Let's grab that old text that we had in here and move it to the bottom and make it say power Make the text about size 20 for me is a good size. Make it brighter. Position X 25. Align this to the bottom left. Make its position X 25 and Y of like 1.75. Just get it in the center there. Whatever, that looks good enough. So now when the bar fills, and then you would like, so you would hold it down and it would fill, and then when you let go, that's how strong your shot will be. Okay, so let's make that script now. So create C# script, button shoot, and wait for it to load, and then go to our button in here that doesn't have a button script anymore because I removed it, and put button shoot on here, and let's open that guy up and make him a button. And just like the other one, we want to use UI, and we want to use this is pressed thing again. So I might as well just copy that stuff, but delete this part. We want a whole bunch of stuff on here. So public tank script tank and public rect transform, which is like the UI version of transform. So the bar back, we get that thing transform, and another rect transform for bar fill, and we'll have a private float power, which is 0 by default. So that's how strong the shot is going to be fired. And we'll have another private float n for number, which is 0 by default too. I don't think we need the start. So while we're holding this down, we'll go n plus equals time dot delta time. So we're gradually increasing that number, and we'll use that to make our power equal mathf dot ping pong. So if you read the thing that pops up, it's going to create a value with this number that's basically time. So we're going to use that, and it's never larger than this number and never smaller than 0. So it's kind of like strobe back and forth between these numbers. So we're going to put that number that's gradually increasing, and it's never going to get bigger than 1. So it's basically going to be like a number that's gradually going between 0 and 1, back and forth. So we're going to go to our bar fill dot size delta, which is, it's super confusing, but it's basically like x and y. It's like width and height. So size delta dot x is the width, and size delta dot y is the height. That's just because rect transform is like different than a normal transform because it's in the UI. So that will equal a new vector 2 because it's just x and y. And we're going to use our bar back dot size delta dot x. So we're using the width of the back bar and then multiplying it by this number that goes from 0 to 1. So when it's 1, it's going to be like the same width. If it's like 0.5, it'll be like half the width of the back bar. So the bar fill will like scale between 0 and 1 multiplied by the size of the back bar. So like it'll be the same size as the back bar or smaller than it, back and forth. Sorry, I should have put power there, not n. And then we're just going to go bar back dot size delta dot y. So the back bar height for this guy's height. So that's when we're holding it down. So else we're not holding it down, and if n is greater than 0, then that must mean that we were holding it down for it to grow. So now we'll shoot, like that's when we release the button. So tank, that tank script dot shoot. We'll just put in the power, but I'm going to multiply it by like 2000 because it's from 0 to 1 is going to be kind of a weak strength. And then we should just set n back to 0 and power back to 0. So we're holding it down. This number thing is going to like go up and down, and then we're going to like shoot when we let go. So let's just try. So we got our button here, and we got to click the thing in the top right corner and go back to that debug mode. Find our tank, put that on, and put our bar back and our bar fill. And I'm just going to turn debug mode off, so go back to normal. And let's see if it works. So I'm holding it, goes back and forth between like 1 and 0, using the size of the back bar so that it like fills it up. And if I let go here, it should be like this weak shot. If I go here, it's a bit stronger, and then here, much stronger. Bam! So that's pretty awesome. Sucker! Shot you in the face! Yeah, Jaja Pinks! Bam! So that's pretty cool. And if their trail renderers ever catch up to them, they delete themselves. But they're bouncy, so that kind of takes forever. Anyway, that's good. Now we should just maybe just make it so that their health bars go down when they get hit, and then we're done. So let's go to our tank script, and we want more rect transforms, so public rect transform HP bar, I guess, and then the fill for that, so public rect transform HP fill. And I guess we need a health, so we'll go public float HP is like 100% health. Oh, and up here I forgot to put a little equal sign right there. So equals 100F by default. So let's go down here and have like update health. So public void update HP and open close thingy. So HP fill dot size delta, so the width and the height, equals new vector 2, which is an x and a y. So HP bar dot size delta dot x, so the width of the main bar thing, multiplied by HP, which it's 100, it's not 1, so we're going to multiply that by 0.01. And then the height would just be HP bar dot size delta dot y. Close that. So we're going to have some kind of collision thing. So collision, because the bullets have a collider. One thing we should do, if you go to the bullet prefab, they have a tag, untag, just add a tag, go plus, and call it bullet, then go back to our bullet, and make sure it's tagged as bullet. So we're going to check if we hit the circle collider with our tank collider, and if its name is bullet. So we're going to go void on collision enter 2D. Make sure everything's like case sensitive how it should be. Collision 2D COL So if the collider that we just hit dot game object dot tag is equal to bullet, so we just got hit by a bullet, HP minus equals 10, so we'll lose 10 health. If HP is less than 0, then let's just set it to 0, but also we'll go print text name dot text plus is dead. We'll just print that we died and what character we are. And we'll also, every time I get hit, let's go update our HP so that we call this thing to update the health bar. Okay, so up here I was supposed to write HP. Okidoke. And then on our tank, we want to get our HP bar and our HP fill. So inside his canvas, HP bar and HP fill, and we're going to apply. And then all the tanks should be the same, but these guys just don't have player checked. Just the main guy does. And let's see how it goes. So, shoot you in the face. Bam, you lost some health, sucker. Bam, you suck. Eat it, biot. Oh yeah. Bam, 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 bam. Bad guy 3 is dead. Jar Jar Binks is dead. I can't see my health bar. So they lost all their health, so now we know that they're dead. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, there's a bunch of UI stuff. And I will put this project on Dropbox, but it'd be kind of cool if you guys did your own art and made your own version of this stuff. It'd be kind of cool to see that. So upload a video of your stuff. I want to see it. And maybe future tutorials we can do like save data. Like maybe we can just continue this. Maybe it can be like multiplayer. I don't know. Like, you guys tell me what you want to do, and it's gonna take me a very long time to figure it out. And then I'll just like do another part to this thing. Bam! Lose your health, sucker. Bam! In your face, bad guy 2. Jar Jar Binks owns you. Yeah. Suck it. Bam! Bam! Bad guy 2 is dead.
Are you tired of video game reviews that just scratch the surface? Where the reviewer is rushing through what might be an epic, life-changing experience so they can write up a 1,000-word review, slap a number on it, and get it out the door as soon as possible? Well, check out The Nth Review and Nth Briefly. The Nth Review is a documentary-style video game review series you can really sink your teeth into. Don't have 30 to 40 minutes to get your fill? Nth Briefly is here for your insightful, snack-sized takes. Check out youtube.com/nthreview. That's youtube.com/nthreview. youtube.com/nthreview. Like and subscribe today.